Google shipped 5 new AI updates this week. Google just dropped 5 updates in 1 week, and I want to walk you through every single one because if you're running a business, creating content, or using AI tools day to day, at least two of these are going to change how you work. So let's get straight into it. The first one is Gemma 4. Google calls it byte for byte the most capable open model, and it's available right now. It's released under an Apache 2.0 license, which means it's fully open source and free to use. You can run it yourself, build on top of it, customize it, no permissions needed. Open source AI has been getting dramatically better every few months. Gemma 4 is the latest proof of that. A year ago, open models couldn't compete with the big frontier stuff like Claude or GPT. Now the gap is closing fast. Why does this matter? Because every time a powerful open model drops, the cost of running AI in your business drops too. You're not locked into one provider, you've got options. Gemma 4 isn't just slightly better than previous versions. Google is positioning it as the new benchmark for open source AI, what you'd reach for when you need something strong, cheap, and flexible. Now, here's the second update, and this one is going to save people real money. Veo 3.1 Lite. So, Google's video generation model, same speed as Veo 3.1 Fast, but half the cost. So, if you've been running using Veo 3 to generate video, your bill just got cut in half if you use this model, right? Overnight, no work required. That's a significant change, especially if you're creating a lot of content or running a business that uses AI video at scale. The AI video space is getting ruthless right now. You got Runway, you got Kling, you got Pika, and you got Higgsfield as well. They're all competing, and that competition is forcing prices down fast. Veo 3.1 Lite is landing at half the price, and so Google is playing offense here, right? Think about what that means, for example, if you're a content creator, if you're making explainer videos, product demos, or social content, or AI video tools, well, all of it just got significantly cheaper to use, and they're going to keep getting cheaper. The third update is even more interesting because it changes how you pay for AI in a way most people haven't thought about. So, Google just introduced Flex and Priority Inference tiers in the Gemini API. Here's what that actually means in English. Flex tier is cheaper, so you trade off a bit of reliability for a low cost. Priority tier is more expensive, so you get guaranteed speed and uptime. This is important because before this, you had one price for everything. Now you can choose. If you're running a business task that doesn't need to be instant, like for example, generating a weekly report or writing a batch of email drafts or summarizing documents overnight, you can save money by using Flex. If you need speed and reliability, like a live customer facing chatbot or a tool your team uses in real time, use Priority. Most businesses should be thinking about this split. Not everything you do with AI needs to be fast. A lot of it can run slower for less money, and this is how infrastructure companies like AWS and Google Cloud have priced things for years. It just hasn't existed for AI APIs until now. Inside the AI profit boarding right now, we're going deep on exactly this, right? How to build smarter AI workflows that save you money, bring in more leads, and help you actually automate the stuff that's eating your time. We've got a 30-day roadmap built specifically around the Google AI stack, 4 live coaching calls every single week, daily step-by-step tutorials showing you how to implement these tools in your business, and 2,800 members who are doing it alongside you. If you want hands-on guidance on using Gemma 4, Gemini API, and the rest of Google's AI tools to grow your business, link in the comments description, or just go to the aiprofitboarding.com to get access. So, number 4. The fourth update is one that a lot of people are going to sleep on, but it's actually really useful, which is focus mode, right? Just launched in Google AI Studio. And it's exactly what the name sounds like, right? It's the fastest way to make targeted edits to specific parts of your app or project without touching the rest of it. Think of it like a surgical tool. So instead of telling AI, edit my whole page, you point at the exact section you want changed and work on that one single piece. This matters because one of the most frustrating things about using AI to build or edit things is that changes can ripple, right? So if you ask it to tweak one thing and something else breaks or shifts, that's quite common, right? Focus mode is Google's fix for that. So you narrow in on exactly what you want changed, everything else stays on and stays put. And if you're using Google AI Studio to build internal tools, landing pages, automations, or anything else, focus mode is worth experimenting with this week. One session with it and you understand why it's useful. Now, the fifth update, and this one matters if you're using Firebase Studio. So Google just released a simple migration path to bring Firebase Studio products directly into AI Studio. Now, Firebase Studio is where A lot of people build, manage apps, databases, authentication, hosting, AI studios where you do the AI powered development and editing. And until now, these two things lived in separate worlds. You've build something in Firebase Studio and then have to manually recreate or import it into AI Studio if you wanted AI tools to work on it, that is. The migration feature fixes that. So, in one single click, your Firebase Studio project is inside AI Studio, and now you can use all of Google's AI development tools on it directly. So, why does this matter? Because the best AI tools are only useful if they can actually reach your stuff, right? Keeping your projects inside a walled garden means you can't apply the latest AI tools to them. Google just opened the door, basically. So let me put all five updates together because separately they look like small improvements, but together they're telling a story, right? Google shipped Gemma 4, open source, free, powerful. They cut video generation costs in half. They introduced flexible pricing so you pay less for work that doesn't need speed. They built focus mode so AI edits are more precise. And they connected Firebase Studio to AI Studio so developers can actually use these tools on their real projects. Every single one of these moves is about making Google's AI stack cheaper, faster, easier to use, and more accessible to the average person. Google is not just building AI for researchers, they're building it for businesses, creators, for freelancers, people who want results, not research papers. And here's what's worth paying attention to the pricing moves, especially, right? So, for example, the Flex tier and the Veo 3.1 Lite price cut both point in the same direction. Google is deliberately lowering the cost of entry. Every time costs go down, more businesses can start using these AI tools. Every time more businesses use these tools, the ones who learned early have a head start. And I see a lot of business owners still sitting on the fence, right? Watching and just seeing and waiting how this all plays out, right? And I understand that instinct, right? There's a lot of noise and not every AI announcement is worth acting on. But the pricing moves are different. When something gets cheaper by 50% and you're not using it yet, the question isn't, should I wait and see? The question is, how much is it costing me to wait, right? The Gemma 4 release, for example, is a big deal for a different reason. Open source models matter because they level the playing field. Small businesses, solo operators, freelancers, agencies, they can now access model quality that would have been out of reach a year ago without paying enterprise prices. Gemma 4, for example, is Apache 2.0 license, meaning you can build a product on top of it, use it in your workflows, even modify it with no licensing fees, no vendor lock-in, and the business model AI is changing, right? It used to be you would pay per query, you stay dependent on the provider. Increasingly, it's choose your model, run it where you want, pay for compute only. And that shift is happening faster than most people realize. So let's talk about the Google AI Studio update specifically as well, because I think focus mode is going to become something people use every day once they actually try it. The problem it solves is real, right? AI is great at generating from scratch, but editing has been super messy, right? For example, you would ask AI to change a headline and it'd rewrite your whole page. You'd ask it to update a button color and it'd somehow also move your layout. Didn't make sense, right? Focus mode is designed to stop all of that. You select a region, you describe the change, and AI only touches what you've pointed at. It's a big deal for anyone building internal tools for their teams, client facing dashboards, or even simple web pages using AI Studio. The more precise the editing tool, the more useful it actually is in practice. And the Firebase migration piece connects to something bigger too. Google is trying to make sure that as AI gets more powerful, the friction of using it keeps going down. If you already have a project in Firebase Studio, for example, you shouldn't have to start from scratch to use AI on it, right? You should just migrate it, right? It takes seconds. And now AI can work on your real projects. And here's a question worth sitting with too. As these tools get cheaper and more connected, what's the actual bottleneck, right? Because it's not the technology anymore. The technology is there. It's getting there faster every week, right? The bottleneck is knowing which tool to use, when to use them, how to set them up, and how to actually connect them to your business in a way that saves time and makes money, right? A freelancer who figures out how to use Gemma 4 for content production is going to be able to do in 2 hours what someone else takes a full day to do. Right? An agency that builds on Gemini API using the Flex tier is going to have lower operational costs than a competitor paying competitive rates and premium rates for everything. Right? A solo operator who uses Veo 3.1 Lite for client video work is going to keep more margin. These aren't theoretical advantages, they're real and they compound over time. The people who are 3 months ahead on knowing these tools have an edge, and that edge grows the longer others wait. That's why I keep saying the window matters, right? Not because AI is going away, it isn't, but because the skills gap between people who actively learn this stuff and people who watch from the sidelines gets wider every single week, right? Not dramatically, not overnight, but steadily. 6 months from now, Gemma 4 will be old news. There'll be a Gemma 5. Avaya will have another version, right? AI Studio will have 10 more features. The people building habits with these tools right now are the ones who will quickly adapt to each new thing as it arrives, right? And the people starting from scratch every time are always going to be playing catch up. Google's weekly update cadence is worth paying attention to for another reason too. They're not doing like massive quarterly drops here. They're shipping constantly, small improvements week after week. That's how the best technology companies operate when they're trying to win a market. Constant iteration, quick feedback, rapid deployment. This week it was 5 updates. Last week it was something else. Next week it'll be something else again. The pace isn't slowing down, right? And honestly, that's both exciting but also exhausting. And I get it, right? There's a real fatigue that comes from following AI news closely. Every week, there's something new. Every week, someone's telling you this changes everything. But I will say this, the 5 updates Google shipped this week have real practical value for people running businesses right now, not theoretical futures. Gemma 4 is free and powerful. Veo 3.1 Lite just cut your video costs in half. Flexible API pricing gives you a smarter way to manage your costs. And focus mode makes AI editing actually useful. Plus, the Firebase migration means you can use these tools on real projects you've already built. Pick one, use it this week. That's the whole game here. The gap between knowing about AI tools and actually using AI tools is where most businesses are stuck. Reading about Gemma 4 doesn't help you. Using it to generate your social content for a week will, right? And if you want to stop reading about it or watching videos about it and start building with it, the AI profit boardroom is where that happens. Right now, we've got members using the Gemini API and Google's AI stack to generate leads, automate content, and cut costs in their businesses. We've got 4 weekly coaching calls where we go deep on Google AI tools, including how to set up the API, when to use Flex versus priority tier, and how to build Gemma 4 into your content workflows. Daily tutorials step by step, a 30-day roadmap for using Google's AI stack to grow your business, and 2,800 business owners in there who are actually doing this, not just watching. Plus, a prompt library and a local member map so you can find and connect with people near you. Link in the comments description or go to the aiprofitboardroom.com. Gemma 4, Veo 3.1 Lite, at half the price, flex and priority tiers, focus mode, Firebase migration, 5 updates 1 week, real practical value. Start with one and build from there. Thanks for watching.